Nathan Kelly stood on the observation deck of the Terran Pathfinder, gazing at the vast emptiness of space through the reinforced viewing window. Stars twinkled in the distance, and the silhouette of the massive Galactic Council station loomed ahead. He straightened his blue captain's uniform and tried to ignore the knot in his stomach. "Captain, we're receiving another transmission," said Olivia Wright, her fingers dancing across the holographic control panel. Her normally confident expression had been replaced by a thin-lipped frown. "Put it through," Nathan sighed, already knowing what to expect. The face of a Zoraxian appeared on the main screen. The alien's purple skin glistened under the lights of their own ship, 4 eyes blinking independently of each other in what humans had learned was a sign of amusement. "Greetings, primitive vessel," the alien said, mandibles clicking. "We are surprised your craft hasn't fallen apart yet. Do you require assistance navigating to the docking bay? Perhaps we could send you some blueprints for a proper engine." Muffled laughter could be heard in the background of the transmission. Nathan forced a diplomatic smile. "That won't be necessary, Zoraxian vessel. The Terran Pathfinder is quite capable of reaching its destination." The alien's upper eyes narrowed. "If you say so, human. Though we've prepared emergency rescue teams, just in case." More laughter erupted before the transmission cut off. "That's the 5th mocking communication today," Olivia said, pushing a strand of brown hair behind her ear. "The Krell sent us a children's manual on basic spaceflight. The Drellani offered to tow us in." Nathan walked to the central command chair and sat down. Around him, the bridge hummed with activity as his crew prepared for their approach to the Council station. Through the windows, he could see other ships moving gracefully through space, twisting and folding in ways that defied human understanding of physics. "Let them laugh," he said quietly. "They don't know what we've achieved." Greg Sullivan, the chief engineer, entered the bridge with a tablet in hand. His normally pristine uniform was stained with lubricant, evidence of his constant work on the ship's revolutionary drive system. "Final checks complete, Captain," Greg reported. "The dimensional drives are operating at optimal levels. Just say the word, and we can show these smug aliens what humans are really capable of." Nathan nodded but remained quiet. The weight of responsibility pressed down on him. Earth's governments had poured trillions into this project. Countless scientists had dedicated their lives to making the 7th-dimensional drive possible. If they failed now, humanity would remain a cosmic joke. The primitive newcomers who thought they could run before learning to walk. "Captain," called Alan Pierce from his station at the science console. The physicist looked tired but excited, his eyes bright despite the dark circles beneath them. "I've been monitoring the dimensional readings. Everything is perfect. The theory is sound. This will work." Nathan touched a small pin on his uniform, a simplified map of Earth's solar system, a reminder of what they were fighting for. Humanity had reached the stars only to find themselves at the bottom of a very tall pecking order. Species that had been traveling between galaxies for millions of years looked at humans the way humans might look at ants building a tiny bridge across a puddle, mildly impressive for their level, but ultimately insignificant. "Olivia, open a channel to all crew," Nathan said, straightening in his chair. "Channel open, sir." "This is Captain Kelly speaking. We are approaching the Galactic Council station. As you all know, we've endured considerable mockery from the established species. Today, that changes. Today, we demonstrate what humanity is truly capable of. The Terran Pathfinder is about to make history. Stand ready at your stations." He ended the transmission and turned to his bridge crew. "Let's show them what happens when you underestimate humans." The Terran Pathfinder continued its approach, carrying humanity's greatest achievement and best-kept secret toward a galaxy that would soon stop laughing. The Terran Pathfinder docked at the Galactic Council station with a gentle thud. Nathan led his senior officers through the connecting tunnel, where they were met by a delegation of various alien species. The Zoraxian representative, Ambassador Krell, towered over the humans. His 4 eyes blinked in sequence, a gesture that humans had learned indicated amusement. "Welcome, humans," Krell said, his translator converting the clicks and whistles of his native language. "We're surprised your vessel made the journey intact." Nathan smiled thinly. "We're full of surprises, Ambassador." The delegation moved through the grand hallways of the station. Aliens of countless species glanced at the humans with expressions ranging from curiosity to dismissal. The station itself was a marvel of engineering. Corridors that seemed to bend in impossible directions, gravity that shifted subtly as they walked, and walls that occasionally turned transparent to reveal the vastness of space. "The Council will see you now," announced a small green alien with 6 limbs and no visible eyes. "Though they question why humans demand attention when you've contributed nothing of value to galactic science." Alan Pierce, walking beside Nathan, whispered, "If only they knew." The council chamber was enormous, with seating for hundreds of representatives from across the galaxy. The human delegation looked tiny as they approached the central platform. Above them, holograms displayed star systems, mathematical equations, and live feeds from various parts of the galaxy. High Counselor Vexithil, the eldest Zoraxian and head of the council, gazed down at the humans from his elevated seat. "Captain Kelly of Earth, you requested this audience to demonstrate a new technology. The council has many pressing matters to attend to. I hope this isn't another primitive warp drive variant you believe is impressive." Laughter rippled through the chamber. Nathan stepped forward. "High Counselor, esteemed members of the Galactic Council, we thank you for this opportunity. Earth has indeed developed a new technology, one that we believe will change interstellar travel forever. Bold claims from a species that achieved faster-than-light travel only 30 Earth years ago," commented a crystalline being from the third row. Alan moved to stand beside Nathan. "With respect, Council members, what we've achieved isn't an improvement on existing technology. It's something entirely new." He activated a small projector. Above their heads appeared a complex set of equations and diagrams that filled the air with glowing blue symbols. "This is the theoretical framework for 7th-Dimensional travel," Alan explained. The chamber grew quieter as various scientists among the alien delegates leaned forward to study the equations. "Impossible," muttered a Krell physicist loudly enough for everyone to hear. "These equations suggest you can manipulate probability vectors within subspace. No species has successfully stabilized such interactions." "And yet we have," Greg Sullivan said, stepping forward. "Our ship, the Terran Pathfinder, is equipped with the first functioning 7th-dimensional drive." Vexithil's upper eyes narrowed skeptically. "If what you claim is true, it would indeed be significant, but claims require proof." "We agree completely," Nathan replied, "which is why we request permission to demonstrate our ship's capabilities in the Carey Nebula." The mention of the nebula caused an immediate reaction. Delegates turned to each other, speaking rapidly in dozens of languages. The Carey Nebula was infamous, a region of space where strange gravitational anomalies had destroyed countless vessels attempting to navigate its clouds. "You would risk your ship and crew in the nebula?" Vexithil asked, genuine surprise in his voice. "Even our most advanced vessels require weeks to safely traverse its boundaries." Nathan met the alien's gaze steadily. "We would, and we will cross it in minutes, not weeks." The chamber erupted in a mixture of laughter and concerned murmurs. Vexithil raised a clawed hand for silence. "Very well," the High Counselor said, his tone making it clear he expected to witness a human failure. "You have the Council's permission. We will dispatch observation vessels to record your attempt." The crew of the Terran Pathfinder returned to their ship with renewed purpose. As they walked through the docking tunnel, Greg Sullivan kept his voice low. "Did you see their faces? They think we're going to our deaths." "Let them think what they want," Olivia replied. They'd been looking down on humans since first contact. Back on the bridge, Nathan called the senior staff together. The main screen displayed the swirling purple and green gases of the Carey Nebula. Dark patches within the colorful clouds marked gravitational shears that had torn apart ships far more advanced than Earth had built before the Pathfinder. "The Council has given us permission to demonstrate our capabilities," Nathan said. "They're sending 3 observation vessels to watch what they expect will be our spectacular failure." Ellen stepped forward, activating a holographic display of the nebula. The Carey Nebula spans 22 light-years. Normal ships take weeks to navigate it safely, plotting careful courses around the gravitational anomalies. The fastest recorded crossing was by a Krull science vessel, 17 days. "And we're going to do it in minutes," Greg added, his eyes shining with excitement. Nathan nodded. "This is what we've trained for. This is why the Pathfinder exists." He looked around at his crew. "Any questions before we depart?" A young officer in the back raised her hand. "Sir, what if the drive fails inside the nebula?" The question hung in the air. Everyone knew the answer, but Alan spoke it aloud. "Then we'd be torn apart by the same forces that have destroyed hundreds of other ships." Nathan didn't flinch. "The drive won't fail. Humanity has put its best minds to work on this project for a decade. We know what we're doing." 2 hours later, the Pathfinder approached the edge of the nebula. 3 sleek alien vessels followed at a distance, their sensors trained on the human ship. "Captain, we're receiving a transmission from the Zoraxian observation vessel," Olivia reported. Nathan nodded. "Put it through." The image of a Zoraxian commander appeared on screen. "Human vessel, we recommend you reconsider this demonstration. Our sensors indicate the nebula is particularly active today. The gravitational shears near the entry point are stronger than normal." "Thank you for your concern," Nathan replied diplomatically. "We'll proceed as planned." The alien's mandibles clicked in what the humans had learned was the equivalent of a shrug. "Very well. We've prepared rescue protocols, though I doubt there will be much to rescue once the nebula is done with your ship." The screen went dark. "All stations, report status," Nathan ordered. "Navigation ready," Olivia confirmed. "Engineering standing by," came Greg's voice from the engine room. 7th-Dimensional drive is powered up and stable. Science team confirms all calculations," Alan added from his station. "The entry vector is plotted." Nathan took a deep breath and settled into his command chair. This is it. The moment when humanity proves its place among the stars. He pressed a button on his chair. "All hands, secure for dimensional transition. We are about to enter the Carey Nebula." The Pathfinder moved forward, the swirling gases of the nebula filling the view screen. Warning alarms began to sound as the ship encountered the first gravitational disturbances. "Conventional shields at 70%, reported a tactical officer. Dropping rapidly. Dimensional drive engaging in 3, 2, 1. Greg's voice was steady despite the ship beginning to shake around them. A strange humming filled the bridge. The lights flickered, then stabilized with a bluish tint. Outside the viewports, space itself seemed to bend. "Entering full 7th-dimensional state," Alan announced. The violent shaking suddenly stopped. The swirling gases of the nebula still surrounded them, but now they appeared different, more like a mathematical pattern than physical matter. "We've done it," Olivia whispered. "We're navigating in the 7th dimension." Nathan allowed himself a small smile. "Take us through, Lieutenant. Show the galaxy what humans can do." The Pathfinder accelerated smoothly into the heart of the nebula, untouched by the gravitational forces that existed only in lower dimensions. The Pathfinder moved through the Carey Nebula like a ghost through walls. The swirling gases and deadly gravitational forces that had claimed countless ships seemed unable to touch them. On the bridge, the crew watched in silent awe as their vessel slipped between dimensions. "Status report," Nathan ordered, his voice barely above a whisper, as if speaking too loudly might break the spell. "All systems functioning perfectly," Greg replied from engineering. "The 7th-dimensional drive is operating at 93% efficiency, better than in our simulations." Alan stood at his science station, his eyes wide as he studied the readings. We're not just moving through space differently, he explained. We're altering the probability of our position. In simplified terms, we're making it increasingly likely that we exist at our destination and decreasing the probability that we remain at our starting point. How far have we traveled? Nathan asked. Olivia checked her navigation console. If we were moving conventionally, we'd have covered approximately 4 light years. At this rate, we'll cross the entire nebula in. She paused, double-checking her calculations. 11 minutes and 42 seconds. A small cheer went up from the junior officers. What about the observation vessels? Nathan asked. They fell behind almost immediately, Olivia replied. According to our sensors, they're still at the edge of the nebula. They can't follow us. Nathan nodded. Good. Let's continue. As they ventured deeper into the nebula, the view outside became increasingly strange. The gases formed patterns that seemed to repeat endlessly, like fractals. Occasionally, they would glimpse what appeared to be the same stars multiple times, as if looking at them through a prism. What are we seeing? Nathan asked, gesturing toward the viewports. Alan smiled. Multiple probability states collapsing and reforming. What we're seeing isn't actually real in the conventional sense. We're perceiving higher dimensional mathematics as visual phenomena. It's beautiful, Olivia whispered. Suddenly, alarms began to sound throughout the bridge. Red warning lights flashed. What's happening? Nathan demanded, instantly alert. Greg's voice came over the comm, tense but controlled. Dimensional fluctuation detected, Captain. Something in the nebula is affecting our drive. Explain, Nathan ordered. Alan was already working at his console. There's a natural phenomenon ahead. Some kind of cosmic string or dimensional fold. It's creating interference with our drive. The ship began to shudder slightly. Outside, the beautiful patterns had become chaotic, swirling violently. Can we navigate around it? Nathan asked. Negative, Olivia replied. It spans our entire projected path. We need to push through, Greg suggested. Increase power to the dimensional drive. Alan shook his head. Too risky. We don't know how our technology will interact with a natural dimensional anomaly. The bridge fell silent as the crew looked to their captain. The moment of truth had arrived. They could retreat, return to normal space, and plot a conventional course through the nebula. It would take weeks, but it would be safe. Or they could push forward, risking everything on untested technology. What would happen if we increased power to the drive? Nathan asked quietly. Alan considered. Best case, we strengthen our dimensional shift and pass through unaffected. Worst case, catastrophic dimensional collapse. And that means the ship and everyone on it would exist in all possible states simultaneously. Effectively, we'd be torn apart across infinite dimensions. Nathan took a deep breath. He thought about Earth, about humanity's place in the galaxy, about the laughter and dismissal they had endured. Increase power to the dimensional drive, he ordered firmly. We didn't come this far to turn back. Greg's voice came through, confident. Aye, Captain. Increasing power now. The humming sound intensified. The lights on the bridge dimmed, then brightened to an almost painful level. The shaking grew worse, then suddenly stopped. Outside the viewports, the chaos resolved into perfect, geometric patterns. We've done it, Alan announced, relief flooding his voice. We've pushed through the anomaly. The drive is stabilizing. Distance to nebula exit, Nathan asked. 3 minutes at current velocity, Olivia reported. Nathan settled back in his chair. Maintain course and speed. The galaxy is about to witness what humans are truly capable of. The Terran Pathfinder emerged from the Carey Nebula in a flash of blue light. Where there had been swirling purple and green gases, now there was only the blackness of space dotted with distant stars. The journey that should have taken weeks had been completed in less than 15 minutes. We've cleared the nebula, Olivia announced, her voice filled with disbelief despite having witnessed it herself. Position confirmed. We're exactly where we plan to be." The bridge crew erupted in cheers and applause. People hugged each other, some with tears in their eyes. Alan stood motionless at his station, staring at the readings in wonder. "We did it," he whispered. "The theory worked perfectly." Nathan allowed the celebration to continue for a moment before raising his hand for quiet. "Outstanding work, everyone. But our mission isn't complete until we show the galaxy what we've accomplished." He turned to Olivia. "Where are the observation vessels?" She checked her sensors. "Still on the other side of the nebula, Captain. Based on their trajectory and speed, they won't arrive for at least 16 days. Nathan smiled. "Open a communication channel. Maximum range." "Channel open, sir." Nathan stood tall, straightening his uniform. "This is Captain Nathan Kelly of the Earth vessel Terran Pathfinder to all Galactic Council observation ships. We have successfully traversed the Carey Nebula using our 7th-Dimensional drive technology. Our current position is being transmitted with this message. We will await your arrival at these coordinates." He nodded to Olivia, who closed the channel. "Now we wait," he said. Greg arrived on the bridge, his uniform stained with the coolant fluid that helped regulate the dimensional drive. His face was tired but triumphant. "The drive performed beyond our expectations," he reported. "We pushed it to 97% capacity during that anomaly crossing. The structural integrity of the ship never wavered." Alan joined them, tablet in hand. "I've been analyzing the data from our journey. Do you understand what we've actually accomplished today?" Nathan nodded for him to continue. "We didn't just create a faster method of travel," Alan explained, his eyes bright with excitement. "We've fundamentally changed how movement through space works. The 7th-dimensional drive doesn't push us through space. It alters the probability of our position until we simply exist elsewhere." "Can you explain that in simpler terms?" asked a junior officer. Alan thought for a moment. "Imagine you're playing a board game. Normal ships are like game pieces that have to move step by step across the board, following all the rules. What we did was more like picking up our game piece and placing it directly at the finish line. We didn't break the rules. We simply operated on a level where those rules don't apply." 3 hours later, the communications officer reported, "Captain, we're receiving multiple transmissions from across the galaxy. Word of our achievement is spreading." Nathan nodded. "Put the most urgent ones on screen." The main view screen lit up with the face of High Counselor Vexithil. The Zoraxian's 4 eyes were wide, and his normally fluid movements seemed stiff with shock. "Captain Kelly," he began, mandibles clicking rapidly, "our observation vessels report that you have vanished from their sensors. Your transmission claims you have already crossed the nebula. Is this accurate?" "It is, High Counselor," Nathan confirmed. "The Terran Pathfinder successfully traversed the Carey Nebula using our 7th-dimensional drive. The journey took us 14 minutes and 27 seconds. There was a long pause. When Vexithil spoke again, his voice was different, respectful, even awed. "If verified, this achievement represents the most significant advancement in interstellar travel in 50,000 years. The Council requests your immediate return to present your findings." Nathan smiled. "We would be honored, High Counselor. But I believe your observation vessels should complete their journey first. They are, after all, official witnesses to our demonstration." Vexithil's mandibles clicked rapidly, a Zoraxian sign of embarrassment. "Of course, we will await their arrival and your return. The galaxy will be watching, Captain Kelly." As the transmission ended, Nathan looked around at his proud crew. "The galactic laughter has stopped," he said quietly, "and it will never start again." 18 days later, the Terran Pathfinder docked once more at the Galactic Council station. This time, there were no mocking transmissions, no offers of assistance, no condescending remarks. Instead, a formal honor guard of representatives from 12 major species lined the docking bay. Their postures and expressions conveyed a newfound respect. Nathan led his team through the docking tunnel. He had chosen a small delegation: Alan, Greg, Olivia, and himself. As they stepped onto the station, the alien representatives bowed in the various ways of their cultures. "Captain Kelly," said Ambassador Krell, the same Zoraxian who had mocked them weeks earlier. His voice now carried a tone of deep respect. "The Council awaits your presence with great anticipation." The humans were escorted through corridors crowded with aliens who had come specifically to catch a glimpse of the beings who had mastered 7th-dimensional travel. Some reached out, hoping to touch the humans as they passed. "This is surreal," Olivia whispered to Nathan. "Get used to it," he replied quietly. "Everything changes from now on." The council chamber was filled beyond capacity. Species that had been enemies for centuries sat side by side, their differences temporarily set aside in the face of humanity's achievement. When the human delegation entered, a hush fell over the enormous room. High Counselor Vexithil stood as they approached the central platform. Captain Nathan Kelly of Earth, Dr. Alan Pierce, Lieutenant Olivia Wright, and Engineer Greg Sullivan. You stand before the Galactic Council having demonstrated technology that many believed impossible. Our observation vessels have confirmed your crossing of the Carey Nebula in minutes, not weeks. This achievement cannot be overstated. Nathan stepped forward. "Thank you, High Counselor. Earth is proud to take its place among the advanced civilizations of the galaxy." "Your place," Vexithil said carefully, "may be more prominent than you realize." He gestured to an empty seat near the center of the Council's inner circle, a position of great honor. The Council has voted unanimously to offer humanity immediate elevation to High Council status, bypassing the traditional 5 centuries of probationary membership. Murmurs spread through the chamber. Such an honor was unprecedented. "Before you respond," Vexithil continued, "the Council requests that Dr. Pierce explain the principles behind your remarkable achievement." Ellen stepped forward, activating his holographic projector. Above the central platform appeared complex equations and diagrams. "The fundamental breakthrough came when we stopped thinking of dimensions as simply directions of movement," Alan began. "The first 3 dimensions, length, width, and height, are spatial. The 4th is temporal. The 5th and 6th, which some of you have mastered, involve the bending of space-time and probability fields." He paused, looking around at the attentive faces of the galaxy's greatest scientists. "But the 7th dimension is different. It doesn't concern where or when something exists, but rather the probability that it exists at all. Our drive doesn't move the ship through space. Instead, it alters the mathematical probability of the ship's position until we simply exist at our destination." A Krell scientist stood, "But the energy requirements must be enormous." Greg stepped forward. "Actually, they're surprisingly modest. Because we're not fighting against the physical laws of normal space, we use less energy than conventional warp drives." The chamber erupted in excited discussion. Nathan watched as centuries-old assumptions crumbled before his eyes. Vexithil raised a clawed hand for silence. "Dr. Pierce, Engineer Sullivan, the Council formally requests access to this technology. What are Earth's terms?" This was the moment they had prepared for. Nathan nodded to Alan, who took a deep breath before responding. "Earth wishes to share this technology freely with all peaceful species," he announced. The chamber fell completely silent, then exploded in shock and disbelief. "Freely?" Vexithil asked, his 4 eyes blinking rapidly. "You would not keep this advantage for yourselves." Nathan stepped forward again. "High Counselor, members of the Council, humanity came to the stars seeking knowledge and friendship. We believe that advancement should benefit all, not just the few. The 7th-dimensional drive technology will be made available to any species that pledges to use it for peaceful purposes." As the implications sank in, the aliens began to understand that humanity had changed the galaxy in more ways than one. The Terran Pathfinder approached Earth, its journey from the Galactic Council station having taken mere hours instead of weeks. Nathan stood at the viewports, watching as the blue-green marble of humanity's homeworld grew larger. Behind him, the bridge crew worked quietly, a sense of accomplishment hanging in the air. "We're being hailed by Earth Space Command," Olivia reported. "They're requesting permission to broadcast our arrival globally." Nathan nodded. "Permission granted. Let everyone see what we've accomplished." Outside the ship, an escort of Earth's finest space vessels formed a ceremonial formation around the Pathfinder. Though these ships had once been the pride of humanity's fleet, they now seemed quaint compared to what the Pathfinder represented. "Captain," Alan said, approaching with a tablet in hand, "I've been reviewing the Council's response to our offer. 17 species have already signed agreements to receive our technology. They've pledged resources and scientific cooperation in return." "And the others?" Nathan asked. "Still in shock, I think," Alan replied with a small smile. "The Zoraxians in particular seem unable to comprehend why we would share such an advantage." Greg joined them, wiping his hands on a cloth. He had been making final adjustments to the dimensional drive, ensuring it would be ready for inspection when they reached Earth. "The Krell scientists practically begged me for schematics," Greg said. Their chief engineer admitted their own attempts at 7th-Dimensional research had failed for centuries. They couldn't believe we solved it in decades. Nathan turned from the viewport. "We didn't just solve a technical problem. We changed the balance of power in the galaxy." "Without firing a single shot," Olivia added. The comm system chimed. "Captain Kelly, this is Earth Space Command. The Secretary General of the United Nations requests to speak with you." "Put him through," Nathan replied. The face of Secretary General Luis Martinez appeared on the main screen. His expression was one of immense pride. "Captain Kelly and crew of the Pathfinder, on behalf of all humanity, I extend our profound gratitude and congratulations. Your achievement has elevated Earth's standing in the galaxy beyond our wildest expectations." "Thank you, Mr. Secretary General," Nathan replied. The entire crew performed admirably. "I understand you've offered to share this technology with other species," Martinez continued. "Some here question that decision." Nathan's expression remained calm but determined. "With respect, sir, it was the right choice. Keeping this technology to ourselves would have made us feared, not respected. By sharing it, we've ensured humanity's voice will be heard in galactic affairs for generations to come." Martinez nodded slowly. "The Council has agreed. A historic day indeed." He paused. "There will be ceremonies, of course. Parades. Medals. But I wanted to ask you personally, what comes next?" Nathan looked around at his crew. At Alan, who had envisioned the impossible. At Greg, who had built it. At Olivia, who had helped navigate a new future for humanity. "We've proven ourselves to the galaxy," Nathan said. "Now we need to prove that we deserve the trust placed in us. The 7th-Dimensional drive is just the beginning. We've glimpsed scientific principles that could revolutionize energy production, medicine, communications, every aspect of life throughout the galaxy." The Pathfinder passed the orbit of Earth's moon, the blue planet now filling the viewports. "We came to space as students," Nathan continued. "We were mocked and underestimated. But we never stopped learning, never stopped striving. Now we can teach as well as learn." He smiled. "The laughter has stopped, Mr. Secretary General. In its place, I hear the sound of voices eager to work together." As the Pathfinder began its descent toward Earth, Nathan realized that humanity had achieved something more valuable than technological superiority. They had earned respect not through fear or dominance, but through innovation and generosity. The ship that had changed humanity's place in the galaxy returned to the world that had created it, no longer a primitive curiosity among the stars, but an equal partner in the greatest community ever known. And somewhere in the vast reaches of space, the Zoraxian High Counselor Vexithil stared at the schematics humanity had freely shared, and wondered what other surprises these remarkable beings might have in store for the galaxy.